Hello everyone, welcome back to Video Editing for Mere Mortals. This is lesson 120, which is an introduction to splicing audio and adding some video overlaps. And in this video, we're going to be actually inserting a set of clips from a second video into our main video, which is a video of my dog Bella hunting some squirrels in our backyard. And then we're going to remove the existing soundtrack and change it to a more interesting soundtrack. So the main steps we're going to be doing is first we're going to load the main video and remove the existing sound. Next we're going to load the secondary video of the squirrels that we're going to be using as our inserts. And then we're going to splice those and add them into our main video. In the third step, we're going to add a new audio track for the main video. And then finally, we're going to just throw in a third video overlay just as something a little fun. And that way you can see how two videos running at the same time will work. So with that said, let's get to it. We're going to be starting first by loading our main video, which is included out on the share drive that is in the description of the video below, so you can reach out and pull the video down. It is a video of my dog Bella, who is out and about in our backyard trying to capture some squirrels that are playing. Now the original video has an audio source, so if you go and hit the play button after it's pulled in, you'll be able to hear me talking and giving a play-by-play of Bella stalking her dog, or her squirrels. So we're not wanting to do this. We're wanting to include our own musical overlay. So what we're going to do is remove the existing video soundtrack. And the way we can do this is by first clicking on the video. And as you see, it's the video of the dog. It's not quite at frame 0 for starting, so we're going to go ahead and move this to frame 0 to start with. Now over here in the properties at the bottom, you can see where we have settings for stretching the audio, increasing volumes, using which audio track, and then down here is a little button that says split to video and audio. When you click this video, it will actually create the audio layer as a layer within the timeline. So we'll go ahead and click that. Now you can see here is a graphical representation of me doing my video or audio overplay of Bella hunting the squirrels. So to remove the soundtrack that exists currently for this video, we simply click on the layer and you can right click and hit delete. Now the video, when we hit play, has 0 soundtracks associated with it. So we can now 100% play our video and add our own sounds without it conflicting with me doing my commentary. Now the next part we're going to do is add in the second video, which is a stock video I got from Pexels.com, and it is simply just a squirrel hanging out in the grass. So I'm going to drag that over onto our timeline and drop it. And you can see that the new video is showing up as a new layer. Now you don't see it up here on the top because, again, the topmost layer has precedence on what is being shown, so this layer is being hidden. So I'm going to click over on this little eye icon, and we're going to hide the top layer. And now you can see this is the little B-roll footage that I'm going to be cutting into pieces and inserting into the video of Bella hunting. So the first thing we'll want to do is go back to our main video of Bella and determine where we are going to place a picture of the other. So now we're going to need to determine where we're going to place the first squirrel stock footage into the video of Bella. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play and just watch it go for a little bit here. And all right, I think around the 3-second mark might be a pretty good spot to put one. So I'm just going to back the video up to the 3-second mark. So in order to put in another piece of video into this main line of the first video, we have to do a cut or a split of the existing video. So we know we're going to do it at the 3-second mark here. So I have my cursor at 3 seconds and I'm going to highlight the video that I'm wanting to make sure that we're causing the split. And now we're going to go up here to the cutting and splitting tools. If you recall, we did in earlier lesson the use of the trim start and trim end, but we're not wanting to delete any of the data. We're simply wanting to cut the video into 2 separate pieces or split the video. And that is done by the item next to it, which looks like a little, I think, razor blade, where it's meant to cut the video. So with the marker set at 3, I can come up here and hit this cut video, and you can see down at the bottom the main video now has this little red arrow, and I can click on the left side and you can see the left portion of the video is highlighted all the way up to this little red arrow. And if I point on the right side, it's the same thing. It goes up to the little, starts at the little red arrow and moves. And in fact, if you click, you can actually drag to the right and you can see that the video is now completely split. So if I put the cursor at the beginning of where we split it and hit play, it'll play nothing and then pick it back up. So what we're going to do is take a piece of the footage of the regular squirrel B-roll. We're going to cut out that footage and we're going to insert it into the main video here. So next, let's do the cutting of the squirrel video and insert it into our main video. Now the next part we're going to do is determine which part of the squirrel footage we're wanting to insert. So I'm just going to move my cursor back to the front, hit play, and just see what looks good. And I actually like the first 3 seconds or so of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and set my cursor to the starting point. We'll just say 0.8 here. And I'm going to go up and do a split. So that puts our little red arrow into 2 separate areas. Now I'm going to select the second part of the video that we just split and move it to where I am wanting the segment to end. So I'm thinking right there looks pretty good. So at this mark, I am going to come back up and hit the split button again. And what this does is takes that final section we were in and adds another cut. So if I move the cursor back to the beginning, now you can drag this around and see I have 1, 2, and 3 parts for the final B footage video. So I am wanting to put this split footage into the main video where I'd already split it. So I'm just going to give it room. Now I'm just going to drag split footage up and drag this portion back so that it's a nice contiguous stream. So now we're turn the main video on. Now see what's happening. So it starts, then it jumps over to squirrel looking, and then back to where Bella is stalking. So if we want, we can add in another part of the bee footage later in here. So here's where he's getting a little closer, and right about here he does that little stagger step. So this looks like a good spot for putting it. And I'm going to highlight our video, do the split. So this takes our main video, splits it into two parts. I forgot to unclick because it by default keeps both halves that you made highlighted. So click off the layer, move this portion over, and now we're going to go back and find a portion of the B-roll footage that we want to insert for that portion. So we'll have him where he's looking around, gets ready to run, and I like that spot right there. So we'll back it up. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on split and creates my little mark. Now I'm going to drag this portion up into the main timeline. It wasn't dragging because I had to give it enough room to insert. Now I'm going to close the gap, and since we no longer need our B-roll footage that's in this layer, we can go ahead and right click on the layer and say delete. So now if we go back to the beginning of the footage and hit play, we can see Bella starting. Oh, there's squirrel looking around. That little jumpiness is due to my processor and running multiple applications at once. When it actually is exported or viewed in the offline viewer, it's a lot better. So here it is. We're getting ready to show the bee footage again. And here's the squirrel looking around. What's happening? What's happening? Maybe I should start running. And then here's Bella like, okay, going after him. And he gives up and walks away in sadness. So with that said, the next part we're going to do is give this video a little bit. Okay, we are now going to be adding our custom soundtrack to our videos, and what I did is went out and borrowed a snippet from Jaws to use as our hunting music for Bella when she goes after the squirrels. So I am just going to go out and grab the WAV file for Jaws, and that is located on the share drive that's in the description of the video below. And I'm going to drag and drop it onto our project's timeline. And as you can see, it added the waveform for the sound, just like it did for the video. So what we're going to do is take a snippet of the sound, just the beginning of the Jaws sound, and play it in the beginning. And then when we have the B-roll for the squirrels, we're going to have it be silent. So the first thing we're going to do is find a good spot to cut the sound. So I'm going to zoom in so that I can see the sound wave a little bit. Going to just adjust it to the right a little bit. There'll be a slight delay on the start of the sound. And then right here is the cut point. And I'm going to click on the audio file, and just like on the video, come up and click on the split button, and that creates a split of the audio into two parts. Let me make this a little bigger, and now you can see I have up to the beginning, just the first part of the audio. So now we're going to start it again at the next part of the audio. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Now I don't want the fast portion of the sound to happen until Bella's actually charging the squirrels. So I'm going to delete this sound portion. I'm going to go out and redrag the Jaws sound clip back into the project. And you can tell now it brought the entire project, or the entire sound file, back into the project. So you can use the same files over and over. So I'm going to just line this one up, and I can do it on the same layer line if I wish. I'm not overlapping anything, so that's not an issue. So I'm just going to align the beginning of that up, go over, and if you notice, here is our next cut point, and I don't want the high-speed sounds happening, so I'm going to go ahead and make a cut here, highlight my video, or audio, and I'm going to do a split at that point, and I do that all the time. Forget to click off and then click on, and then I can move this out of the way. I'll just tuck it down to that next layer, and now I can come up here and say right click on this, say copy, right click on the layer, say paste, and it adds it in as a second layer. I can just glue it onto the end, and now I'm going to zoom out a little on my timeline. You can see how the video, or the audio, is playing along, and then right here is my split line. So I'm going to go ahead and set that split, click on my audio, and I am just going to say trim to the end, and now we have an audio that goes continually from the beginning of the cut to the next cut. And then when Bella's getting ready to do her attack, I got the cut of the high speed ready, so I can just go and let me line it up here, and I add the end of the high speed, and we should be good. So now I'm just going to move this one up as well so that all of our audio is on one line. Go back to the beginning, hit play. Now the final part is I'm going to do a little video at the end and overlay that into the project, and hopefully it'll work out well and we'll be done. Thank you. Okay, now we're adding in the final little fun piece, which is a little piece of audio at the end. And what that is just Homer Simpson going, "Oh." It's a very short clip, and it doesn't really come out too well, but it's more of the experience that you get by adding it. So that's the reason why I want to include it. So again, out on the shared drive is a little MPG that we're going to go ahead and drag, and we want to insert it at the top layer. So you saw the red line to show where it's going to be inserted, and it puts the Homer Simpson as a gigantic picture, which is over top of everything else in our main video. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down to a smaller size and move it down here to the bottom. Now, when Bella gets done chasing her squirrel, it's going to come in and give the dole as part of the disappointment that was found. So I am just going to do that and hit the play button, and let's see what happens. So with our video now finished and our little overlay showing how you can have two videos playing at once is done, I am going to go ahead and come out to the projects, hit save, and I'm going to export it as a final project. I'm going to ensure that the settings are correct. I'm going to go ahead and just export it as a MPG and hit the export project. Now by magic, it's going to jump to the end. And there we have the conversion being completed. Go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to minimize, and I am going to go ahead and open our final video so that we can see how it looks.